You're walking through the Rust Belt. Storm rolling in. Arc probe whining somewhere just out of sight. And you find it. Half buried in the dirt, panels torn open, cables hanging like nerves. You walk closer, and you notice something that doesn't feel alien at all. Little warning triangles, strips of hazard stripes, tiny blocks of numbers and letters almost like serial codes stamped into the metal. It doesn't look like something that crawled out of a black hole. It looks like something that came off a production line. That's where this theory starts. And before we go deep, none of what I'm about to say about humans creating Ark is officially confirmed. Ark Raiders is set in the year 2180, long after a global environmental collapse wiped out most of human society. Surviving communities cling to life in the ruins of old cities and in underground hubs, while mysterious Ark machines rule the surface. We know that Ark are mysterious mechanized robots that drive people below ground. Humanity now lives in the underground city of Toledo, in the district of Speranza, one of the few places relatively safe from Ark. Raiders are the people who go topside to scavenge parts and tech and bring it back home. We also know there was a moment in history called the Exodus, shuttles launching from places like Asira spaceport, carrying a lucky handful of people off-world while the planet collapsed below. Asira's codex literally describes it as the place where Exodus shuttles, vessels of hope and desperation, once roared into the heavens, leaving a beleaguered Earth behind. What we don't know, because embarkers never said, who built Ark, why they appeared, and whether humans had anything to do with their creation. That part is deliberately left blank. So everything from here on about Exodus humans creating Ark to cleanse Earth is theory, not canon. And that's important. Now let's have some fun with it. Imagine you're not a raider on the ground. You're one of the people who made it onto an Exodus shuttle. You watched the Earth die twice. First to environmental collapse, poisoned skies, ruined ecosystems, and megastructures rotting away. Then to Ark. Swarms of machines falling from orbit, systematically wiping out settlements and terraforming the surface to their own design. From up there, looking down at that mess, Earth isn't home anymore. It's a problem. Down on the ground, fragmented groups of survivors are still clinging on. They're armed, desperate, and constantly tinkering with whatever tech they can find. The biosphere is unstable, full of failed industrial projects and whatever Ark is doing. If you're building a clean, controlled off-world society, that's a nightmare scenario. So the theory says the Exodus elite make a decision. We can't fix this by sending people back. We fix it by sending machines. In Canon, Ark is described as a mechanized, AI-driven threat that rules the surface. No one in the story knows exactly where they came from. But when you actually look at them in game, they don't feel like ancient, unknowable alien technology. They feel engineered. Think about what you see when you fight them. Ark units patrol in patterns, react to sound, and converge on high-valued locations like dams, generators, and loot caches. That's targeted behaviour, not random hunting. Event machines like harvesters literally look like mobile mining rigs. Big, industrial shapes that scream designed to extract something. Not born this way. And then there are those little details on the bodies. Fans have pointed out that some Ark parts appear to have numbers, symbols, and layout that feel like human labelling, warning like icons near vents or joints, plate seams that look like access hatches, panelling that could easily belong on a factory robot or industrial drill. None of that is outright proof. It could just be the art team borrowing real industrial aesthetics to make the machines feel grounded. But in Theoryland, those details are taken as fingerprints. Hazard markings in places a human engineer would put them. Serial style engravings that more look like product IDs than alien glyphs. The way probes and walkers are broken into modules, like they were built piece by piece, not grown. If Ark looks manufactured, someone's got the factory. And who, in this universe, has the resources to build factories that can spit out planet-scale machine swarms? Not Speranza, not scattered raider gangs. The only candidates we know are about the people who built launch towers tall enough to send Exodus ships into orbit. So now we get to the heart of the theory. Why would Exodus humans create something like Ark? One answer is ugly but simple. Operation Cleanup. Earth has already been wrecked once by the human industry. Climate collapse, failed megaprojects, wars. We don't have all the details, but the official law makes it clear that life on the surface was already barely hanging on before Ark arrived. In that context, Ark starts to look like a very twisted form of environmentalism. Use self-learning machines to strip out unstable infrastructure, erase uncontrolled human settlements, terraform the planet in a way that's predictable and monitored from afar. From the ground it feels like an apocalypse. From orbit, it might look like resetting the board. That's why the cleansing version of this theory is so popular. The Exodus elites didn't just run from a dying world, they decided the only way to save it and protect themselves was to send Ark back down to clear it of us. The machines aren't here to negotiate, they're here to finish the job. And another flavour of the theory drops the eco angle and leans on fear. If you're living in a controlled orbital habitat, the thought of desperate, heavily armed survivors eventually finding a way into space is terrifying. Maybe some of those survivors are experimenting with old AI tech, biohazards, weapons nobody topside should have. In that mindset, Ark isn't about healing the planet, it's about keeping whatever's left on the Earth caged. Global firewall made of metal. Any large settlement that grows too bold, Ark escalates. Any attempt to build serious industry or communications infrastructure, Ark flattens it. Anyone trying to reopen a launch site, you got it. The Ark gets there first. Seen that way, those warning-style markings on Ark units aren't there for our safety. They're there because these machines were built by people who still think in terms of regulations and risk. Just not for us anymore. We are the risk. Now let's go back to that wrecked Ark probe. Probes in the game feel like the vanguard, sniffing out resources, scanning areas, sometimes triggering events when you mess with them. They don't look ceremonial or alien, they look like equipment. In the theory, probes are the clearest link between Ark and Exodus. If you were running an off-world operation, you'd send probes first. It's what we do in the real world. They'd be labelled, tracked and logged. They'd wear the visual language of the people who built them. Triangles, stripes, alphanumeric tags. So when players zoom in on those little plates and markings on Ark hardware, they're not just admiring detail, they're asking, why does this feel like something we built, not something we discovered? And once you ask that, it's a short hop to if we built it, who signed off on unleashing it here. The only group that makes sense, scale-wise, is the one with launch towers and Exodus shuttles. So to sum up without repeating the whole lore dump, the Canon gives us a ruined Earth in 2180, mysterious Ark machines controlling the surface, humanity surviving in Speranza, and a fabled Exodus where some humans escaped to space. The Canon does not give us any clear answer to who created Ark, or any confirmation that Exodus survivors are behind it. The theory adds Exodus elites, terrified of a broken planet, Design Ark as a cleansing and quarantine system. The Ark behaviour with its targeting infrastructure, harvesting, terraforming, fits that agenda. The warning-style markings and serial-like plates on Ark units feel like human industrial design, not alien runes. None of that is confirmed, but it does turn every encounter with Ark into something more personal. Because if the theory is even halfway right, we're not just fighting machines, we're fighting somebody's decision. A decision made by people who looked at Earth from a safe distance, looked at us, and they chose steel over mercy. So when you look at Ark, the way it moves, the warnings etched into its internals, the way it seems more interested in controlling the world than just killing you, does it feel alien to you? Or does it feel uncomfortably human? Do you buy the idea that the Exodus elites built Ark to cleanse and quarantine Earth? Or do you think there's a completely different answer we haven't even touched yet? Drop your theories in the comments, especially if you've got screenshots of the weird markings on Ark units or codex entries that hint at the Exodus connection. If you want more Ark Raiders lore, theory crafting and story breakdowns, consider liking and subscribing, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Until then, keep your head down in Speranza, and when you go topside, don't just listen for Ark. Maybe start wondering who exactly they're still answering to.